Hello, cruise mates. It's your Wonderful Wind Mage, your Cruz Ship Servant, Chartreuse Proxy, ever and always at your service. How is everybody doing today? I am going in with a pretty late stream, but once again, I've got family plans the most of this week, so because of that, I'm just going to be pretty well delayed over whenever it comes to my usual starting time of 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. CT. But we're mainly just chilling out, and I want to continue doing my weekly VOD reviews for my viewers and everything like that at the very least. How you doing, Austin? Hope you're doing well enough tonight. So, I've got a pretty interesting VOD lined up for us today. For those of you that may recognize the person in the top left, that's actually, Kate's right there, the streamer, but it's actually not his VOD that it wasn't him that was requested, and quite frankly, if I got requested from another big Omega Striker streamer, that would be something funny. But actually, I was requested by the Ai.Mi in his match, Sikalasta, or the Allied, the blue Ai.Mi that we're going to be seeing here. The main thing here is that they are a Challenger ranked Ai.Mi, and they wanted me to highlight it, but especially because this is a Pro League game. Both Sneaky Assassin and Kate's are Pro League ranked, especially so, and he wanted me to really be able to highlight his authority, especially so, on what you should be doing as an Ai.Mi. Now, unfortunately, this is coming from Kate's VOD, so because of that, I'm not going to have Ai.Mi's cooldowns necessarily on pat, but I do have my own Omega Strikers open for reference in case, so I can just reference. I don't remember everything off the top of my head whenever it comes to that, but at the very least, it's going to be a real good lesson on being able to cooldown track on this end when it comes to, especially if you're playing against an Ai.Mi, and once again, highlighting what a good high-level Ai.Mi player wants to actually highlight. So let me actually put down my text right there too. VOD Reviews of viewer-submitted games. Sikalasta VOD. VOD focus. Sikalasta's Ai.Mi. There we go. I can put that at the bottom. And, well, let's go ahead and get this underway. Just once again, I am completely blind to all of the VODs. I've got this one and I got 3 others lined up. So I will have content enough for, you know, if I kept doing 1 VOD a week for until February, funny enough. But I might do 2 a week, honestly. Depending on how many more VODs I get from my viewer side of things.
Hovering Juno, ain't no way.
But the main thing that I was told, I'd say the main thing, the only thing I was really told about this was, that Secret Slit Kits as Ai.Mi, which already, as a Awakening, as a gear choice itself, is pretty viable. I usually prefer midfield Ai.Mi, but that's because I'm usually the one playing a little bit farther back anyway. But if it goes from the way to where it's going to be Ai.Mi Estelle, then Ai.Mi would want to move up more from the midfield line because Estelle can cover a lot better and be that hard force striker, considering how Glitch Pop and Cyber Swipe can actually help out very much more on that end. Yeah, like, once again, I'm just going to really be tracking cooldowns, if I can, on this VOD, and once again, seeing what I can do on the highlight spectrum here, because that's what I want to be able to showcase in, what's his face, in...
Then you probably want to play a ranged goalie, and if you don't have good midfielders, then you want to play melee goalie.
In the VOD here. And I was just kind of letting Kate's talk right there, because that is a very good point to bring up.
Your midfielders will...
And I actually want him to be able to repeat that out in case you weren't paying attention, and in case you were trying to listen to what I was going to maybe say.
Actually, wait. Okay, so if you have good midfielders, then you probably want to play a ranged goalie, and if you don't have good midfielders, then you want to play melee goalie.
That is already just an amazing rule of thumb, just to demonstrate with, because especially so, whenever you have midfielders, or characters who can midfield more and aren't your hard forces, because, like, you know, you can easily quantify Juliet, Etz, is like your hard forces immediately in. Ai.Mi and Estelle can easily drop back to the midfield line and then force up when they need to, or so, but you want to be able to support your team's style of play if you're playing goalie itself. That's just a aside of the point, but midfielders and goalies should pay attention to that, especially so.
Because sometimes your midfielders will keep the core on the right side of the field the entire game, and there's nothing you can do about it. He Reject Kai, make it triple midfield.
So main thing to pay attention to here is
And the right side of the field, the entire
is out of space. Everybody on this team took Big Fish. It's at the city, so Spark of Strength really doesn't pay dividends at all for, you know, unless you think you can actually scale up to set 2, set 3. There's already 3 midfield orbs, and quite frankly, you're really going to have a defensive enough composition just from the orbs enough, and just from the way of how everybody drafted. Estelle, Rasmus, Mako on the enemy team, Ai.Mi, Estelle, Dubu. Unless somebody gets a real good ult hit into wearing down Stagger, you're not really going to be looking towards power as a win condition, much less Sparts, when Big Fish itself is going to be a huge matter. And if you're the one odd person out that didn't take Big Fish, you could easily just get man marked out for the rest of the game, especially so. Because for Estelle's, because if Estelle didn't take it, the Twitch Rose Warp always means they're just going to win the Strike War. Rasmus very much so loves it for Pendulum Swing Whiplash. Ai.Mi loves it for her Cyber Swipe. And then, you know, goalies in general just still have Big Fish, too. Just for easier size.
Kai, make it triple midfield. Ain't no way. Why do you play melee goalie? Hey man, don't worry about it.
So he's going to be marking Rasmus. Wins first touch with Glitch Pop. And he wants to force... Yeah, exactly right there. He wants to force that advantage. Because especially since his team is made up of 2 midfielders, he needs to be able to start moving up. He wants to keep the core away from... he wants to keep the core away from Rasmus. His mark, of course. But also be able to keep the pressure on the enemy. Because he can go in at any moment's time. Look at that. No, look at what he's trying to do with his Cyber Swipe right there. He's trying to find a good attempt for when Estelle just brings the core over. That way, she can Cyber Swipe, just stun the goalie. Because Estelle, if she gets a good line, that's a good line. But if you get a good glitch pop, good Cyber Swipe like you were attempting right there, then that's just an easy stun the goalie, hit the core, and it goes right on in.
Sorry, boys.
I was about to say, that is a nice burst, I will admit there. Ooh, and an even better Cyber Swipe. Kate's did kind of throw just dancing right there, but he recognized it. But let's get back to actually analyzing things. If I can actually, I should just be doing 10-second jumps. Main thing here, main thing of course is once again with 2 midfielders and with Dubu, who is a little slower for goalie, and he wants to have court control, and he wants to be able to respond to court control. And like he wants to be able to have the time to respond to court control. She just needs to win the first touch. So immediately here, you saw that Glitch Pop is used because because with the core spawning at the bottom and Rasmus being the mark. And Rasmus being the Ai.Mi mark, main thing is, if he gets the first touch for free, he immediately just gets to win any strike war, thanks to having 2 hits with Whiplash Recast. So there's not much you can really do forward past that as Ai.Mi, unless you get a unless you wind up for a point Cyber Swipe, but he might just even push the core past you at that point then. So just win the first touch immediately, get the ball quite literally in your court, because then enemy still has to respond, and maybe burn her abilities to responding, while his allied Estelle, Blue Estelle, can actually just use her abilities to hard force and get the goal barrier. So good snipes just for court control. Notice as well, especially after Ai.Mi wins the first touch, she immediately starts looking to mark where Rasmus is going. Rasmus trends upwards, Ai.Mi's moving upwards. There's no reason to stay at the bottom once the core is away, of course, but look at how she's just totally standing in front of him. She doesn't try to read and try to move out of position, even though she has Cyber Swipe to steal control after Estelle takes it. It's just standing in front. That way you can use Cyber Swipe right there and potentially get a good angle on the goal. The biggest thing about Ai.Mi that I feel that comes to when you're trying to learn her is knowing when to force in with Cyber Swipe, because it is your big committal ability, and it is the easiest hard force ability in your kit. Since Firewall Sentry, you know, you'd have to just get a good line to hopefully stun the goalie enough so you can push the core in. And Glitch Pop, you have to work a little harder for your angles. Cyber Swipe gets you immediately in the fight and allows you to have a direct impact on where you're sending the core to, both if you Cyber Swipe in front and get to mind game the opponent, or just stun them themselves and get to send the core its way. It's a little awkward of an angle right here, unfortunately, that even though Ai.Mi got the stun on Mato and hit the core. It just didn't bounce because of the corner angle on Atten, but Allied still was able to pick it up, and now it's just all about trying to keep yourself open. You can immediately see that since both Erasmus and Estelle, I don't know actually if you can see my mouse cursor. Well, I'm just gonna assume that you can. I can't really tab out without OBS. Actually, let me shrink OBS for a quick second here. I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor. Oops. Well, fact is, with Rasmus and Estelle holding the very top, no reason to try to get in between them because Estelle can just piercing shot you, and you lose all pressure. So both Ai.Mi and Allied Estelle are moving down to the bottom. They are stacking up a little bit, but it is solo queue, so you really can't say too much past that. But they're trying to just be a force of 2 strikes versus 1 strike, 3 strikes versus 1 strike to clear down to the bottom, and then glitch pop to try to clear forwards. Did miss, didn't work out, and then just Mato Nerves is able to beat out Estelle with just having perfect pitch. But now we're looking for another cyber swipe angle. Biggest thing is, you can see right there, a nice attempt to try to push Mato into the goal line. Remember, anytime you're playing any strike, anytime you're looking for a cheesy kill on the goalie, you can always tell when they're going to be able to be knocked back, even though the goal mouth has extra knockback resistance, by the black lines on the goal mouth itself. If you see a goalie trending right there, you have just enough knockback on base kit with any impact abilities to knock them into the goal itself and KO them if they're standing a little too close to the edge. Sometimes you have to move back, but you can easily catch them out if they're standing a little too close to do it. If right here, if uninterrupted, Ai.Mi could cyber swipe in here, and if Mato didn't move, she would immediately die. You can see, she looks for the angle, but Mato moves just a little bit forwards. And unfortunately, she does stay alive as this play goes on. Strike misses, and, well, the force is out. So now we are just looking at cooldown timing. If you don't know off the top of your head, glitch pop is 8 seconds, cyber swipe is 14. That is your power spikes, with Firewall essentially also being 35 afterwards. You can clearly hear my Omega Strikers to check that and make sure on that end. But you know exactly what I'm trying to angle for. Once your abilities are on cooldown, it's all about making sure that you can actually find your mark and keep them out, or find your angle and stay open for your team.
Playing melee goalie is you can just sit back, relax, and
good glitch pop right there. The main thing is, once again, what? Satrasta has no abilities. Glitch Pop should be coming out in 3, 2, 1, just about so. So you're trying to keep the angle open. He doesn't mind passing outwards right there because his Glitch Pop might have just been off like 1 second on cooldown, not tracking. But Estelle could also just find a cross angle and force a Mato burst. The core does clear this way, but with Ai.Mi, you should be unafraid to go backwards with any of your abilities, especially with the ball hitbox of Glitch Pop, and it's especially how it drowns out, with how it draws out more size as it goes further on. It hits Rasmus, threats the core back, and now that can just be a dribble attempt into forcing with Firewall essentially. Another attempt right there with the cyber swipe to try to stun. Because Mato's angle was so cut off, she has to move up and answer. And cyber swipe was to try to force the agenda. But unfortunately right there, range is a little off, no stuns had, so core goes back. Good glitch pop to intercept the angle once again. Just always be using glitch pop off cooldown. You can see glitch pop goes out now, so 20. So at 12, glitch pops immediately back up. Firewall essentially goes out, didn't stun, so you are immediately looking for your next opportunity to go back up. 13 seconds, 12 seconds, and immediately glitch pop goes out and forces the burst, which is wonderful. Because especially with how chaotic some of these situations can be, for characters, for midfielders like Ai.Mi, like Estelle or so, if you have the advantage, you should never be afraid to use your abilities if you can find an advantage to get, if you can find a chance to sustain an advantage, sustain core control, or just take advantage of the chaos. Because when it comes to right there, you can see Estelle was trying to just immediately mark Ai.Mi after the initial hit, but just a quick glitch pop was able to catch her off guard and then force the Mato burst immediately afterwards. You can see Ai.Mi's kind of holding a little bit farther of a wider angle. And even though Estelle rose towards forwards, forwards to try to intercept, the Thorn unfortunately hits Ai.Mi instead of the core. And even though Mato can defend, Glitch Pop right as it comes off cooldown, just about to answer. To answer and put Mato in a losing situation to where burst has to be used, otherwise you lose the goal.
Sorry, boys. Don't do that. Don't go AFK like I do.
Now I just kind of want to let that play out again, just for the fun of it. But also, like I said before, Glitch Pop in 8 seconds, Cyber Swipe in 14. As soon as it's up, because it should be up right about now as well, after the initial force attempt. You can see,
Sorry,
just trying to answer with the cores going down. Good intercept from Rasmus with the Death Touch. But unfortunately, Angel's a little wide, and the 1-2 just isn't the best.
Don't do that.
But it
Don't
comes
go
down
AFK.
to Estelle. She tries to send it for a good Demon Angel, a little off. But even if Ai.Mi wasn't able to get the immediate hit, fact is, with the Cyber Swipe, she's moving forwards, and she will be able to answer for free with a hit of, with a strike of her own, with a 50-50 on Mako. But she also does just, you know, kind of predict even better and just gets a nice easy redirect for a straight shot.
The assassin gives
So
me hope.
nice play altogether. And just recognizing, hey, as soon as my cooldown's off, we are forcing. Because you can see, even if Estelle used her piercing shot, even if Ai.Mi used her, what's his face? Glitch Pop right then and there, she's just using as much as she can off cooldown and forcing this issue. Because the biggest linchpin here in this composition is the Ai.Mi versus Rasmus matchup. Rasmus and Ai.Mi have their hard force opportunities, and it's all about forcing situations to where you can just to where you can always win. That's right, to where you always hold core control, so you win every single chance.
Or Rasmus for fun.
That is a little hard right there, but you can see the difference in when core control gets to come their way. As soon as Rasmus actually gets a hold of the core for the first time this game, he's able to carry it over and help keep the pressure on Kate's Dubru, while the enemy Estelle is able to just snipe it in, keep it out of the hands of Ai.Mi, and she just didn't get to do as much that round right there.
Gives me hope. Yeah.
Reviewing it again though, it was a good initial attempt. Glitch Pop goes a little shallow instead of going farther in. Because if it went a little farther in, it could have gone towards the goal, but it might have been a play and not anticipating to just immediately win the strike war against Estelle. Because it goes past, yeah, Estelle just immediately wasn't in position, so if it was just a immediate strike war 50-50, that could easily cover if Estelle hit it there. But it just didn't pan out, Glitch Pop misses, so now you are looking for an attempt to zone Rasmus out with your burst. Immediate burst, there's no reason for Rasmus to be able to ever pass it back up, and you lose it or lose it with your burst. Unfortunately, Mato is using drum and bass right there, so it might not have been the best timing, but if it's to try to get the goal barrier, but if it's to keep it out of Rasmus's hands, that is the right play, because he is in front of you. You need to just win your war. Angels it towards the corner, trying to get a rebound, and also play towards Estelle in case she had any cooldowns, but there's no piercing shot, no guarantee that Rose Warp's going to be there. And another attempt to try to intercept Estelle, enemy Estelle, before she can strike the core in the corner with Glitch Pop. Just didn't go off. Good clear away. No reason to try to pass it to your Estelle right there, because Rasmus just intercepts with Pendulum Swing or even a strike. So just put it away in the corner and try to force your issue. Because Estelle has burst herself, but you want to put the pressure on her to possibly burn it defensively, or just keep things there. Which site is best for you reviewing VODs? I mean, any site can work, quite frankly. I had some people sending in VODs, they just uploaded it to YouTube as an unlisted video. This one is really just a Twitch VOD that Sequasta, the Ai.Mi, sent to me. So like, if I unlock window capture, this is literally just, yeah, a Twitch VOD that I'm viewing on right now. Or just send the raw video file to itself. Chances are probably YouTube, or YouTube would be the best, since I can just rewind by the, I can just tap my arrow keys and rewind like 5-10 seconds, and then you can just send the unlisted video link my way then, yeah? But getting back to it. How are you doing, by the way, Spice? But yeah, you can see immediately forcing the issue. Cyber Swipe does not hit Mato, but that's the intention was to actually cut off the top angle and really force the issue with the core. Because even if Mato clears downwards, she already has no drum and bass, so she can't strike recast it, and she's going to have to, she has no drum and bass, and there's no passive bolt up, so you can't get a strike reset. Perfect Pitch is also out too, so it's literally just an ult left. So immediately force the issue and force Macho to have to ult to try to save the barrier. Estelle, inadvertently or not, enemy Estelle does eat the hits of the of the Firewall Sentry, so it never actually comes to pass. Instead of there being pressure if Macho wants to clear downwards, there is no pressure from Firewall Sentry, and Macho gets the free clear into loss of core control, unfortunately, there.
Oh, yeah.
Nice attempt to try to nice attempt by Kates with his burst, but unfortunately, just due to nerves, it looks like you just immediately Sakosta just immediately hit it right towards the Macho. There was already no glitch pop because you already burned it up there. No cyber swipe because that's already on a longer cooldown. Like, you're already on no abilities at this point then,
Yeah.
I feel. So the better option, of course, would just be dribble downwards or even try to hit an angle on the dribble immediately down and look for a different 50-50 attempt. Or just try to hit the very bottom of the core and just get the barrier that way. But it might have just been a panic after seeing the core coming your way. Can't necessarily blame. Now, Estelle does unfortunately find a pretty sick angle right there. And the coverage necessarily wasn't the best. Let's take a look at that again. So staying open.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you do say sorry. So you do immediately recognize it was just kind of like a panic right there. You immediately start trending downwards, though, afterwards. After the core is already out of your control, though, which I don't like. Because once your abilities are out, you should either immediately go Mark Estelle or Mark Rasmus in whatever capacity that you can.
Oh, yeah.
Because you do just kind of like stutter, step, and stop right there. If it goes towards the bottom of the goal, Rasmus is going to get it anyway. So it's immediately should have started moving towards Rasmus.
Oh,
But, to try to intercept. But even then, that could have forced out his burst earlier. Kates is able to stop it, and due to a good just holding the corner, Eurostar was able to get the barrier afterwards. Good Rose Warp, though, does intercept.
Nope, I have
And then,
like
well, you still have no
towards-
abilities, so you're just kind of dead in the water in your play. Can't say too much more after you have the goal barrier, but beforehand, if you could intercept the Rasmus and force out the burst earlier, and maybe even stop your goal barrier from ever falling, that would have been it. It's really just kind of like that panic play of, oh, I hit it towards Macho, my bad, guys. You need to immediately just start moving after that field play. That's really it.
by far.
Small mistake there, can't say too much.
It makes you lose games.
That's
for fun.
lucky, quite frankly. And that's just clinical right there. Yep, that's exactly what you're angling for. Well, I'm not gonna have to analyze this too much. It happened within the span of 10 seconds.
Worst goalie game.
War was won, luckily. Estelle doesn't need to force towards Macho. Even though there's an open lane in between enemy Estelle and Rasmus, there's no reason to send it forward since Macho's charging perfect pitch. He's just an intercept. So instead, pass it straight downwards towards you, Sakosta Ai.Mi. Makes perfect sense is even if Rasmus wants to recast Whiplash, it goes straight to Dubu. It goes straight to either Dubu or Estelle from that angle right there. So he's just not going to be able to get that much of a win. Even then, the angel was actually so perfect enough that Whiplash didn't hit as he backed off, and you get a free strike to the corner. You get the goal barrier too, luckily. The glitch pop was to try to cover in case the core didn't have enough momentum, but that was just a little ambitious, I feel, considering how nobody was at the bottom, no reason to use it. But fact is, Estelle tries to get her own force, it stays in the corner, but because of how out of position Rasmus is, he's got no owners in the play. Enemy Estelle already had the burn cooldowns to try to get in place, so just, strike, and then perfect cyber swipe, exactly so. That's when you commit, you hit the goalie, it gets past them, they're stunned, they can't do anything more. Yeah, just pretty lucky, all things considered right there. Oh, my VTube studio just crashed. Give me 1 second on this. Why did my VTube studio crash on me? Hello, VTube studio. Can you start working on me again? There we go. Good. Alright, back to it. But yeah, that's just Conical right there.
No.
Alright, let's turn my little idle music off. Let's get back to this. The 2-1. Rasmus is naturally outspeeding you here thanks to drum and bass. Why is that play symbol still in the middle? Can I not have that in the midfield? Just about. Oh my goodness, that's going to annoy the ever-loving crap out of me. I'm gonna refresh the VOD. I'm not gonna have that play symbol in the middle of this VOD as I try to analyze it. Oh, great! I love ads!
I got my
I'm just gonna let this ad play. I'm sorry, guys, about that. Alright, back to it. So let's rewind the points. I didn't get to really properly look at it. The 2-1, after the successful cyber swipe. I always confuse the two ability names, and I don't know why. Yeah, onus of the play isn't on you. Getting man marked out thanks to drum and bass. Loses the strike war, but able to cover, and a nice glitch pop attempt. Now keeping the corner angle tight. Unfortunately, even though it was a good force idea, I know your cyber swipe's still on cooldown after last round.
Oh yeah.
You still do get it though. Now you paused again to say sorry. I don't know if you're just holding the radio menu to say sorry on there, but I think you really need to be moving aggressively for the play. Nice! No! Nice! I was about to say, nice angle attempt right there. And that's a great cyber swipe anyway, if it didn't work out. Crystal Thorns gets in there, and then 50-50's won. Nice! Nice kill on the Mako to really get things off there. Biggest thing, so let's exactly rewind that. Can't really win the war against Rasmus. You just have to cut off the angle where it's like where you are, because Dude was covering the immediate top corner. Estelle's covering the middle, and then you just have to cover the bottom for Estelle. Can't do too much until the play comes to Rasmus, to where you try to win your 50-50. 50-50 loss, but the other two strikers are there, so they get to cover it. And then Estelle actually pushes control out for you to try to force with glitch pop. Can't see too much right there. Angel could have been lower, but then again, you're gonna you miss all the glitch pops you don't take. And quite frankly, that was a real good idea to try to keep the momentum going in case you're able to win that hit right there against Mako. Now, after you get the core right there, you try to force on the corner. You don't have any other cooldowns, so you do have to start moving up Costa right there. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out. But the fact is, it retains core control in your corner, keeps out of Rasmus's hands, and your Estelle just misses her strike. Can't say too much more past that. Cyber swipe, just to get out of the ensnare drums, you need to force the issue. Because once again, Rasmus is out of the play. He's trying to stay open right now. So it's just a straight 2v2, and you're just able to slowly win the strike war off of it right there. That's just good proactiveness and willingness to burn your cyber swipe, because it is your blink. You might as well get out there while the core is still in your favor, and that's something I'm really recognizing pretty well. Just seeing, hey, we have the advantage. I never want to lose this advantage and push it. Now, I just don't like that right there, though. Like, yeah, points can be bad, but just like, you don't have to respond immediately all the time. You can say sorry if the goal is lost afterwards. Like, keep moving in this case then. Like, you're doing nothing right there, saying sorry. Estelle's marking you out, Rasmus is up there. Like, just go ahead and start moving up. Because if you moved up a single second earlier there, maybe you could force the issue a little past Rasmus, and you'd be more in position to receive the core up there. But at the end of the day, you get the glitch pop hit, which powers your burst. You now rush in to try to beat Estelle, which you do. And then, like I said before, paying attention to where Mako is, where the goalie is. If they line up on that block line, you go in for the kill with any of your impact abilities. And it was a really good idea of an angle to try to bounce out the corner. That way you could line up a 1-2 cyber swipe. Even though it didn't work out, you still didn't get the kill on the Mako, which is big, because you came in with the game plan. Because even though you were out after your initial firewall sentry play, fact is, you used glitch pop, cyber swipes up here now, so what can you do with those? One thing that I always see people not respecting when they have burst is to use your abilities in conjunction with it. How many times do you see a Juliet use her burst to win, to negate a 50-50 strike war, to just say, I win it all the time now, and then I get a guaranteed dash punch in whatever direction now? Same thing with a Etz, using his burst all into a bell ringer. Not bell ringer, a bull rush. That way he can guarantee that the court goes one way and you're being stunned otherwise. Same thing here. You have your, you have your cyber swipe, so immediately hit the corner to try to get a devious angle. It throws off Mato's time in case you try to just immediately reaction strike. And crucially, once again, gets the kill on her, because as she falls back to respond to it, she does get the hit, but she dies, unfortunately, at the end. If she didn't want to greed for it and just burst for bursted it, she would have lived, of course, but she did die, thanks to you trying to get a force, and unfortunately, you do just did 50-50 timing on Estelle. Probably could have maybe hit top right, but I don't know if that could have been out of Estelle's range, but you still served your role. And just a little off on your glitch pop. I saw the idea there, and Estelle saw it, enemy Estelle saw it too. She tried to piercing shot to cover it, but just didn't work out. But now, it's just 50-51 afterwards. The goalie kill was really everything that got that play going, starting off. Nice stuff, all things considered, with having your intention to strike, especially so.
I can't tell you the last time I've gotten an East server. It is very chill.
Now, looking at it, it's you drafting first, Acosta, and the goalie is next. So immediately, you need to put pressure on them in one way or another, so it's either extra special, because you are Ai.Mi, Firewall Sentry Forces could be immediately more, or Egoist, which definitely would have been my plays right there, is my thoughts. It's right, it's really just the bottom three right here. Extra special, Twitch Strike, Egoist. Take Twitch Strike away, potentially, that means you can just dribble a lot easier, you can play towards those, you can play towards having more burst. But with it being Athens City, Egoist especially goes up for the orbs, of course, and with it being wide open, you just get to run wherever, and then just answer.
Drums goes really hard. You know what I mean?
Don't always get anything there. Stagger Swagger, mainly just for the extra speed for Dubu at that rate then, but that is going to be Spark taken for Rasmus instead. I will also note, yeah, it is enemy Estelle only, because I don't think I've seen the tab screen come up yet, that did pitch, that did pick up a Spark. She definitely could have actually gone Spark of Agility then, which might have been a drafting difference, but to deny a goalie Twitch Strike is still pretty important, so I can't falter for a decision there. It's greed versus pragmatism, and unfortunately, pragmatism does work out at that point then, considering how, since they did lose the set, a goalie getting the enemy goalie getting Twitch Strike means it's going to be even harder to force things in afterwards.
Why did Zodium not rock 2 sparks?
But yeah, that's the other thing that really just comes to it as well. Yeah, people could have taken it, but extra special can be big. But at the same time, I would say people just kind of counter-drafted for each other right there. Extra special is just good in general, but then instead of going for 2-spark win condition, that's just counter-drafting and take Twitch Strike away from goalie. Might have just out-mind-game yourself there. You already picked a Spark, so that could have been a real big spike for the enemy Estelle. So it feels like an issue to me in that case then, for how that is still drafted, but I'm supposed to measure in on the Ai.Mi performance once again, and fact is, Egoist, first pick, very important for Athens City just in general, I feel.
Guys, hello?
Good clear down. Ooh, Rasmus Size is able to just force passive pendulum swing.
What am I talking about?
Good 50-50. Glitch pop to try to force it out, but just so acute coordination, couldn't line everything up, unfortunately.
Hey man, I'm throwing, boys.
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily the best there.
Estelle did not.
But let's look at this again.
Why did Zodium not rock 2 sparks?
So immediately, just exactly like set 1 again. Once, because it's fresh set, everybody has their abilities off cooldown. Just glitch pop to force the core out of Rasmus's reach. You will always win your first touch, unless Rasmus commits Death Touch to secure core control, but then he's down his ultimate. He is able to cover the corner angle, but he bats off, meaning you just win the recast war. And then immediately, once again, which is that win conditioning, sets up the Firewall Sentry to cover the corner angle going upwards, and then tries to cyber swipe in to force try to negate space. And if you had a little bit more range, you could even stun Mato.
Going crazy.
Mato does clear pretty well though, unfortunately, and the Crystal Thorns doesn't work. I need to watch your positioning after the play though.
Why did Zodium not rock 2 sparks? Am I going crazy?
A nice try there. You make me start moving up to try to support Estelle in the play, And okay, yeah, you just missed a strike because you did try to move up, trusting Estelle could win the war. I think I might have wanted to move back a little bit more in that case then, but if you did, and Mata just passes down Rasmus just first, I can't fault you too much for that situation. Nice try, and then Rasmus having the extra size, both from Big Fish and Drum and Bass, means he just beats you on Pendulum Swing, so can't say much there. But then it's this little double bat that I see, positioning-wise, is really what I'm trying to analyze out of you, Citrasta. Citrasta. I'm trying to pronounce it CL instead of CICA. Citrasta. So double batch. Probably because the barrier is already disappearing, you don't need to cover immediately there. But then you and Estelle are stacked up, and then that just opens the way for Rasmus here. I still like that. It forced a 50-50 on Dubu, which he did win right there. And a nice glitch pop to just try to send the core a little bit farther with a little bit more velocity. Estelle's snipe just didn't line up necessarily, unfortunately. And then you back off again, I feel. Nobody's at the bottom half of the map, so why are you backing off? Because you just zoned yourself out of the play at that point then, I feel. I feel like that's your positioning mistake right there. Because once it tours up here, nobody's at the bottom. Even if it tours down to the bottom, Estelle can cover it. Estelle can cover it potentially here. So you just kind of don't get in the play. Like, maybe you see the Dubu Bamboozle projectile out there, and you think, oh, that can cover it. But otherwise, like, Estelle and Rasmus just aren't pressured on their hits at all.
I'm going crazy. What am I talking about?
I think it is just a little bit of loitering around the field. So Estelle goes... Estelle, you may see her arching to cover the bottom half of the goal, so it's your job to start moving up and getting pressure on the forwards in that case. Then, just Rasmus dribbles up now. You're doing nothing. Estelle tries to get a piercing shot lined up off the rebound. Dubu, your ally Dubu Kates, does have to evade that, or rather, in case he gets stunned. And then he can hit. But then that still draws Estelle upwards to try to cover it. But she would have been hit with the pendulum swing otherwise. You just kind of drift, right? You just kind of drift your positioning a little bit, I feel. But could you actually get there in time? I need to analyze that instead of making immediate judgments. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. A little bit of a tight play. I still think it's just a good idea to just try to move up in that case and just try to get to where Rasmus is itself, because once you're standing out in the open, you're just kind of saying, hey, hey, let it be a 2v2. So if you moved up right there, for instance, it could have been a little bit more, but I don't know. Yeah, and then the Rasmus play just kind of falls from there. But he kept a tight angle, so you wouldn't have been able to do too much more in that situation. It's just like, otherwise, it's like, you just could have moved a little bit more then, I feel.
Hey man, I'm throwing, boys.
But it's whatever. It's whatever. You had good ideas up until then, it just didn't work out. So let's analyze. So Cyber Swipe once again to immediately win the, Grid Swap to win the war, and then you're just keeping it cornered away.
Whoa.
Tight angles. Good! It's a good hit to Cyber to a glitch pop immediately here. Now I want that egoist going. Those nerves immediately go out. Nice try. Just lost a 50-50. Can't say much past that. That was an early strike though. I didn't necessarily like that. And then that positioning was not the best either too, I feel. It's alright. Good Cyber Swipe to force the Mato burst out. I am seeing you take up your positioning to hold that forward position and letting Estelle midfield. Just once again, especially with you being switch kits, you're really trying to find a play in. I just don't like sometimes when you're ordering around. That's just my one big critique, but that's just maybe me. Cyber Swipe to immediately put pressure on Mato. Even if she has drum and bass going, you need to just keep the core in that exact part of the field.
No way. Get it to sell.
Good 50-50. Trending down to get the orbs so you can get Ego's proc. And now you're just trying to keep yourself open. Nice stuff. But that core was a little sus from Dubu otherwise. But all good. You're trying to win condition. Especially with how wide out that you are. I just feel, especially with your pedigree of your glitch pops and everything, you're getting real good hits from those that I don't think you need to be forcing that far away. That you need to be standing that far away and out sometimes here. But otherwise, your play's solid enough, honestly. So let's go to set beginning. Set beginning, round beginning. I want to look at this. So once again, round start, it spawns at the bottom, glitch pop, retain control immediately. Rasmus does win with his robots again, but then he immediately starts turning away from the corner, so you get it in. And then Cyber Swipe does stun Mako, but she's able to luckily win it, thanks to her strike tapping. That is actually unfortunate. Rasmus gets it here. You win another 50-50 after his Death Touch, as he needs to hit it to retain control. And then keeping yourself open. Good man marking right there. That is a real good point there. Because after you already used all your abilities in the initial force, you can't keep it in the corner otherwise. So you could, so it's just immediately moving up to recognize where the onus of the play is. Since Dubu had to use, since Dubu already used his cooldowns, and especially after the offensive somersault, immediately trend backwards because Estelle has no way to get the core over to Rasmus. And Rasmus did kind of actually go a little bit further outwards to try to greed and get some energy for his burst. So, because of that, like, he went to get the orb. So, because of that, thinking drum and bass would let him catch up in time, but the man marking just lets you retain control, and then sending the glitch pop downwards where Rasmus is already trending after the Estelle hit. Just even if you hit it straight forwards to her, fact is, the glitch pop's able to cover the angle. I would have liked it a little bit, I would have liked it up top, though. That's just my critique, because then it stays, because then that means your Estelle can have a little bit more onus on the play, because since he's already ahead of enemy Estelle when it comes to range, because a good snipe is already going to cover the midfield at that point then, but it's whatever. Keeping yourself open. I don't necessarily like that angle of Firewall Sentry, though, because, like, Rasmus is already behind you, so he's really not an onus on the play. It can, okay, I guess it can zone Estelle out, which it kind of does. You get burst here, and unfortunately in Snare Drums, kind of chose any immediate burst potential play right there. So now you look to Cyber Swipe it in. As soon as the enemy Crystal Thorns and just strikes come out, just, yeah, burst. See where the enemy's position. Estelle moves up the challenge immediately. As soon as you saw her strike, you hit. Just good patience right there, all things considered. Comes right back down to you, lose the 50-50, can't say much about that. And then the strike was just a little early. I don't know what the optimism was. I can't tell if you were just going to immediately strike it towards Maka right there if you're trying to dribble in the corner. But then it's just this positioning right here that I feel was just that that little sus moment that I was looking at. And Dorte was trying to art downwards, so you're trying to ankle break by sending it far out. I can see that.
Don't do as I say, but do as I do.
So, like, right here, it looks like you're trying to commit down low in case Estelle sends it. But then as soon as the teleport comes up, I mean, might just be reflexes. I can't blame you for, like, holding just a little bit lower there.
I'm in the boat.
Whiplash recast, hopes it stay right there, potentially, but Estelle just uses her own burst. Good somersault to stun out.
Yeah.
And nice try once again. Like, look, that's clinical right there. Stall for the second wind up with Cyber Swipe to then force the issue with the core. Mako is able to save it, unfortunately. And then she just basically waits out your glitch pop and the Crystal Thorns. Goes straight to Dubu. Goes back. Passes a little too loose. Enemy still is able to intercept it. Can't say too much there. And then I see you immediately trend backwards. Because once you recognize that Estelle is winning the man mark against you just by being in front, you need to find your alternate route of attack. Good idea. But I know your glitch pop's not necessarily there. Okay. So it comes out. I know that this was 24 days ago, so that might have been a micro patch away. Was glitch pop's cooldown a little lower? Because it's 8 seconds right now in game. I can't remember if it was better or not otherwise. Glitch pop to cut off Rasmus angle. That is denying win conditioning right there, considering he has burst. And then you just try to win 50-50 against Estelle. You lose it, unfortunately. And now it's just going down to the onus of Rasmus play. His gold barrier, unfortunately, is gotten. And then good tries right there to deny with your abilities. Unfortunately, it does force your Estelle's burst out. And now optimistically looking. I wouldn't have sent it immediately to Sumatra. I would have still sent it immediately in the corner, because you sent it towards the middle. If you send it in the corner, the ball is just going to slowly rebound towards you where nobody else is. I think that's just angling issue on your play right there. Nice switch pop attempt right there.
Get it to sell. Oh yeah.
Now, yep, you get the orb for your Egoist proc. Just trying to circle, seeing what you can make off of it. At that point then, when the goal is like, when you see you have to catch up to the enemy strikers at that point then, that's just really the question of, do I burst now and waste my Egoist to save the play and get it back in our favor? Or do I save it for next game, the next round? And well, do I save it for next round, unfortunately, so that's how it goes. But, does it pay off immediately? Yes, it does. Wow, that's actually hilarious. Well, once again, that's just playing to what your win condition is. And if you think you can make a play off of Egoist goal rather than trying to save a play, that's how it goes. Even if it spawns in the middle, I do like how you're taking that initiative to win the strike war, because as soon as it hits, Rasmus has to respond, and it does ping-pong back to Estelle, who just wins based off just sending it past and Mato missing perfect pitch. And then this is just immediate nerves, because once Mato starts drumming base, unless she immediately recasts, she can't hit it straight, so that just goes backwards. Yeah, that's just nice, fast, take them off guard while you still have your Egoist, and then just restart your momentum. Especially with you already down 0-2 before that round, you just need to keep it going. So yep, win the war again. Rasmus is not clearing to his Estelle, but that might be because he's fearing the cross map / pass potential of yours.
How did that reach?
And Snare Drum stalls. Good stun, so Rasmus is out, but that's your glitch pop now. Your cyber swipe now. Nice dribble attempt. Good corner hold. Nice tries, nice tries. And once again, just making sure that whenever you see that burst, you are just standing right near Rasmus enough so you can just win the war. Yep. Good attempt right there. That's right, that hit. That's right. Oh, negative synergy from the what's his face? From the death touch. Glitch pop unfortunately did that use there, trying to intercept. But now onus is on you. Oh, that perfect pitch interrupted you though, so you don't get the range on your cyber swipe. In that case then, alright, you're already out of the play. What are you trying to make off of this? Glitch pop's a little late, I feel. Kate's still won the 50-50, thank goodness, for your team though. If only you had one of the big 3 traits, but you're still making very proactive plays with your cyber swipes. You tried dodging the ensnare drums, I saw right there by backing up, but it just didn't work out. Glitch pop, try to stall. Cyber swipe, just didn't have the range, instead stalling a little bit more. Nice tries, all things considered. And Kate's just couldn't withstand the pressure. All good. Rougher round right there, but I feel that there was a few pain points. Let's bat that all the way up. So first touch, once again, comes down to you using Glitch Pop. Rasmus panics, and he just sends it back right towards y'all. He could be sending still to his Estelle, but that just might mean a Crystal Thorns or even just a Rose Warp could get there. So that might just be what he's conditioning and trying to win the 1v1 with, so I can't fault him necessarily. It could just be lost win conditions. You don't have any of your other abilities though after last set, and once your Glitch Pop's already gone. So you're just trying to keep in the corner for Estelle, which she does eventually win. Just wasn't necessarily immediately prepared for the very bottom, for the court at the bottom, unfortunately, but you do win your 1v1s. And then now, it's just about trying to strike in front of Rasmus again. Cyber Swipe committed, but then, as soon as you go downwards right there, I'd want you to stay immediately in front of Rasmus, because it's either like, are you trying to get the orb, or marking him out? You don't have to stay up top, because Estelle's already going to have that. Just staying right in front like this is immediately aware. And nice tries. Still forces the Mato ult out. And I looked at that. Your spacing, your trending, where just staying in front of Rasmus himself is real nice. And since he already used his Death Touch to pull you earlier in the set, that's already down for 16 seconds, I feel. So it's just all about making sure Rasmus has no good place to be. I think instead of dipping down, you could have covered a little bit better, but you could have just immediately stood right in front of Rasmus, but you still won the war. And then once your forces are out here, it's just patiently letting Firewall Sentry do its thing while trying to, while keeping the strike pressure on. Now, I do like that idea. Even though you got the orb, you're basically just one hit away from getting your burst and your egoist prot. So you just need to hit the core or an enemy by any means. Hitting Rasmus through your cyber swipe stuns him and allows Tates to just get a free burst without having to win a 50-50 on that. That's your egoist now.
I think the core is moving a little fast.
Estelle wins the 50-50 there. Nice try. But I just, nice try and trying to intercept it, but I just don't like burst reactions. You may win those weird attempts, and that could be an easy 50-50, or even just sitting at the top right at that point then. But I feel like that could have just been used a lot better, instead of just trying to, reaction test them. Still keeping yourself open, though, I do like that. And then your cyber swap did get buffered by perfect pitch, unfortunately.
Core flip is real.
So you're keeping yourself open, or if Estelle can make your angle.
Oh my god, how did we clear that?
It does come your way, but then this is the question that I have, because your Glitch Pop should be back up at this point then. I would have probably sent it a little bit earlier, considering how you already see Macho holding it there, so you just need to send it before, that way she can't get her clear going. And then, you're really just keeping yourself open in that forward position. I really still don't like that immediate force forwards, because your body twirl wasn't ready to reflectively react with strike cyber swipe immediately right there. If you just sent it downwards, I'm pretty sure Erasmus's Death Touch is already on cooldown, and it still can't reach unless she commits her warp and snipe to even just rebound it off the corner, off the wall. So at that point, then just strike it downwards, dribble it, and then just find a better chance to 1-2 it, I feel. Afterward, send from your Estelle to enemy Estelle, but then you win the strike war against Rasmus, and yeah, just standing in front of him, simple as that. And then I see you just once again, trying to dodge the ensnare drums. Just moving upwards, but then again, you still got hit. Might have dodged it. But you're still trying to keep forcing. I see you winding up for your cyber swap once again there. Nice tries, but your range is just a little off, which you might be used to just having a bid 3 trait from previous game, for instance, but you're still trying to find that angle every time, which I really do like. I really do like how you are using your abilities off cooldown ASAP. Especially for you having Estelle Ai.Mi as your forward, as the forward choice, you just need to keep that pressure cascading. And if you lose core control, Rasmus does get to run away with it and make goals like that, unfortunately. So Missile Propulsion will let your Glitch Pops be that much more pressured, along with, of course, Firewall Sentry being a lot bigger of a problem for the enemy to deal with at that point then. I feel like that's just pretty good in general. Specialized training, although I'd love to read for it, it's not really getting that much hits otherwise. It's just between Missile, Glass Cannon, or Hot Shot, it feels like, after all of that then. So that, or you could even take Chrono to make up for your extra range that you are lacking currently with your Cyber Swipe, considering how many times you've almost gotten it, and to deny Mako. But win conditioning, once again. You play to win, unless they are necessarily a problem, you play to your own win conditions rather than deny the enemies.
And my forwards are massive. My forwards are as big as Rasmus.
Nice try. Cyber Swipe did miss, so that's just how it goes sometimes.
Okay, maybe losing size is grief.
Nice Rose Warp by Estelle, keep it in the corner. Snare Drums has been used, stalling it out. Now, Cyber Swiping upwards just to make sure that Rasmus can't get control. Because as long as you can keep that pressure up, you are trying to man-mark the enemies out pretty well. The extra range from Missile Propulsion really helping out to just reaction test and reaction test where the enemies want to go with their abilities. I don't like that clear necessarily, with already how Estelle was staying there, but that wasn't your play. So, that wasn't your play doing it. So the thing I also immediately don't necessarily like is that opening positioning. You had been winning all of your, I know that you had just lost the round, just lost the set, and you may be feeling bad, and, you know, people go in the corner and then do a sulking emote. But fact is, you had won every single first touch by being ready to Glitch Pop. Now you're out of position, and then Rasmus immediately gets to force, and your Firewall Sentry isn't necessarily the best. If you won the immediate touch, because it spawned at the bottom, that play could have immediately started way differently. Dubu may not have been able to, been forced to use Tofu Fortress. So why did you have to salt in the corner? Be ready for your play, my dude! Every single first touch, you had won the strike war against Rasmus by way of glitch popping first.
My forts are as big as
Fact is, you don't get punished for it.
Rasmus.
Nice cyber swipe attempt, just auto-locking on the range again. But then you just stand around just for a second. Like, I still don't like that. You should have been in front of Rasmus here at this point. But then, you know, it's whatever. Good warp by Estelle right there. And of course, your glitch pops have still been pretty on point, especially with missile propulsion now. You have the extra range and being able to wait things out to just keep it in your control. You try to strike it against the corner immediately to start proccing the hits on the snare drum's walls, but you just get stunned by it mildly, unfortunately. I do like the commit of your cyber swipe to try to stun Rasmus and make sure that Estelle can win her war. And then, your positioning is just fantastic right here. Just standing in front of enemy Estelle, but then you just peel off and trying to anticipate that Mato's gonna hit at the bottom. Can't fault you there, but then it's out of your way a little bit here. Trying to force in the corner. Edo's proc, nice try. Can't say too much more after, you know, trying to wait things out there. You have been mixing up your burst timings, which I do like.
My heart is singing.
Ooh. Smo Turtlus, thank you for joining the cruise ship and welcome aboard tonight. I don't like your glitch pop afterwards, though. Let's take a look at that. So, hit here, you hit your Egoist, tried waiting for it, you had to wait out the snipe, but then you just get beat by the strike afterwards. But then you tried trying to stun Rasmus on the corner there, but that's already a late reaction, and at that point then, Estelle's also almost low enough, and also with her being near burst, it might just be better to hit her instead. Or at least I'd prime yourself to hit her, because Rasmus is already up there. You're not in position to start unless you get the perfect stun on him. And even if the core goes to the corner then, Mato also has her burst and her empowered strike to get her cooldown back. I don't think you're seeing the play at that point then, but fact is, Estelle was just able to get the goal off of that, unfortunately. It wouldn't have staggered, but it could have put the idea in the mind for your Estelle to maybe burn an ability, get her out of position afterwards, because you just went on the defensive, because both of your teammates went on the defensive afterwards. Whiplash beats you, unfortunately. I'd say glitch pop to move up. I'd say glitch pop and cyber swipe to move up. You get the goal barrier off of that. And nice send upwards, since you know that your Estelle has abilities to try to burn. Oh, that's real unfortunate, though. That's real unfortunate, though. Right afterwards, after all of that.
Rolls unforgiving, yeah. It do be a lot.
Okay, let's look at this again. So, at the very least, after compared to last set, you are ready for the core this time. Just spawns upwards, though, unfortunately, and Rasmus does beat you out. But after the onus is out of his play, yep, like I said, glitch pop to force it forwards, and then cyber swipe to retain the space and maybe stun Mato and hit the core. Your Estelle follows up beautifully, but she doesn't have the speed to keep it immediately low. Sends at an awkward angle, unfortunately. And nice try to once again feed to your own Estelle, especially with how close to burst she is. He just needs a hit to really start forcing the issue. But then double burst spent, unfortunately, and Rasmus's lingering pendulum swing hitbox does win it at the end. And then you're just kind of out of the play afterwards. You already burned all your abilities. You're keeping yourself open. That way you can clear the core at the bottom. Can't say too much more after that, because once again, you are abilityless. Oh, that's the wrong button. So, just man-marking Rasmus out is the main thing here. Yeah, Mato just wasn't immediately in the best position to stop you. So now it's just all about staying alive after the pressure and being able to move up. But that's just staying way outwards. I really am recognizing that, especially since you did take switch hits specifically. This game, you're trying to stay in that forward role. But your defensive side, you're being... if it's at the midfield line, you're willing to commit, but then once it starts falling out, you don't want to move up necessarily to the top, which it technically isn't your role to keep it up top. That's Estelle's, to clear up top. That is Estelle's role, but I don't know sometimes. Just simple strike right there. Mato was a little bit too far back, so you just got the corner. And nice try to force it again with your cyber swipe, just didn't work out again. Just to a game of inches right there. I still do like the in the initial firewall sentry though to carry it and put core control solidly on your side of the field.
No.
I just did
So
patience,
I just
and then good rebound attempt right there. It's just that since Mata's auto ahead, she's not going to die, and she can still reaction burst to clear it. Stun Estelle, made sure that she can't make a play off of it. Nice try. You were already trending down when you were casting that, so I can't fault you there. You're probably just looking at Estelle more than where the core was. Rasmus gets his burst ongoing there. And then, it wasn't too much that you could do, actually. Can't say actually too much about that play. Because you burned, you were probably looking at, you probably just were looking at Estelle when you were landing a glitch pop to make sure you could detonate, that you weren't paying attention to Rasmus. Especially so, because after all the firewall sensory hits and the initial cyber swipe, you should recognize that you're hopefully one hit away from your burst. At that point then. Ah, the timing on getting Aegis might have just dragged you a little bit further down than you anticipated too. But you are also proactively moving up. Rasmus has his burst, you just need to win the 50-50 and move back at that point then. Because then it just kind of cascaded. Yeah, that's just kind of immediate heat of the moment play where you got your burst and then you weren't ready to respond to it as an answer. Just something to be cognizant about, especially with you already did take Aegis, you already are trending towards that idea, but you know, it just didn't pan out. So Rasmus continues to both Sparks. He really has agility, now he's resilient, so there's no way that he's dying anytime soon.
Very cool.
Team player for your goalie, really good. Twin drive for Estelle, ooh, that's really good too. But Timeless Trader for your Firewall Sentry is going to be big. Mata gets another extension though, unfortunately, and then Estelle basically has to just take Knife Edge. She should take Peak for the extra speed, considering she has Big Fish, but Knife Edge helps her, especially with Glass Cannon, to potentially outspeed enemy Estelle on the corners, considering she needs to beat her with one twin drive use as opposed to one secondary use since the twin drive as opposed to two. So Mitri starts winning. Nice cornering. Raz is trying to cover the angle right there. Nice try, but now it's just all about moving it up. I like you trying to stay saving your positioning in case because if it ever twists down, nobody ever is able to get the bottom right there. And you just try to commit your cyber swipe only when it goes in. Okay, those noises are annoying, so I'm just not even going to play that. Waiting to strike, good try. Glitch pop to try to put it back in your control. Just a little bit farther out, unfortunately. Yeah, all of those sound bites, I am not going to entertain that. Sorry, Kate Stream. Hey, Calvin. So, immediate start of the play. It spawns up there again, which does suck for you. But you still get your your Glitch pop in, which does free accident kill Estelle. Nice stuff. Now you're keeping yourself a little bit further out of the play to try to make sure that you can get Estelle can have the angle. Because once enemy Estelle's dead, it's really just making sure Rasmus is forced out of position. He even burns his Death Touch to try to intercept. Nice tries there, and then the angle. I don't necessarily like your Firewall Sentry angle. Might have just been put in the heat of the moment, but see how it just immediately cuts off right at where the goal barrier should be. It does hurt, and since you don't have any power to it, you just have duration. It's really not going to dissuade Macho from just watching through exactly. Cyber Swipe's a little late there too. Instead, it should have been good for you to just immediately devote the Cyber Swipe as soon as you got the advantage, since, you are hanging a little bit back. You could maybe just stun Mato and force the goal barrier while you have this advantage, then start falling back since once you burn the ability. But that's just my assessment. I would have been a lot more aggressive once I got the striker advantage, but you're trying to use it as your fallback plan afterwards. Because it's fine up until here. Mata's charging perfect pitch. You're just keeping yourself open for the passing lane. Tried to hit the very corner. If you there's no reason to hit at the very bottom right, because then even if you firewall essentially it's just a 50-50, and Rasmus is just on a man mark is still out to be a 1v2. So send it back. So you just have to send it optimistically and then try to cut things off. Maybe you're trying to cut Rasmus off with that firewall sensory in that case then. But fact is, you are waiting around. Core's out of your reach, so it is a little unfortunate. But it seemed like that was more of an optimistic cyber swipe more than anything. Because you didn't have any good control, and even if you win control after the cyber swipe, you were trying to you're trying to catch the moment when Mato had the core, that way you could stun her and then just control yourself. I see the play. But it was just a little too cluttered view-wise. You get stunned, keep it in the corner, nice try. It still does get the barrier. Glitch pops low, and then you just keep getting stunned and buffered out of your abilities. No reason to strike because you have no abilities. Yep, just wait it out. Nice dribble attempt, but you just get outstruck by 2 strikers. Can't say much more past that. And then, well, Rasmus is in front of you the whole time. Can't say too much past your plays. You had your good ideas, but then once you were on cooldown, it just kind of fell. And you can't really say too much more there. You were just a striker with not speed otherwise.
I can hear again. No.
It keeps spawning up top. I'm not gonna have those sound bites keep playing. Let's watch the whole goal first, though. Play my background music while this goes on instead. Suppressor's on Estelle. Firewall Sentry to cut Estelle off. Nice patience play right there. Nice attempt. Cyber Swipe's a little early. Try to hold control. Now you're just trying to keep yourself open for an angle. Good clear from Kate's. Waiting things out, that forced a burst out, and that's really Crystal Thorns. Amazing work right there. So it starts up top. Try to do the same play again. Because you have Missile Propulsion, you are immediately angling for that glitch pop to try to make the play on Estelle. Just watching how low she is, too, is the biggest thing. Firewall Sentry to cut her off. You have your Egoist proc here. I don't know if you have Cyber Swipe at this point, then. I'm guessing you probably just don't, since you burn Burst. Try to glitch pop in case it goes forwards, considering you're backing off. Can see the play. Instead, Mato goes immediately upwards. Play comes back down to you, and then there's a Cyber Swipe, but your angles have just been so shallow. And once again, I just think that this might be a game difference where you might have had a bit 3 Aerial Super Surge Chrono Boost in another game. Because otherwise, the only option I might have seen is you tried to Cyber Swipe in front and then angle towards the middle, but that still could have been covered. Just an earlier Cyber Swipe. It's hard to man-mark Rasmus out here, because you're trying to hold the bottom, that way you retain pressure hold to yourself, because even if you move up to mark Rasmus out, if he whiplashes or if Mato jump in bases, then he just outspeeds you. So nice tries. Beautiful tour from Kate's, though. Not falling to the pendulum, so you're not even having to use his burst, and then, well, you were able to hit the core still, which is all that it really came to then. Afterwards, you hit the core before Ensnare Drums came out, Mato used it late, and then, actually, that person in Prison Thorns, that was a snipe from Estelle. Nice stuff. Alright, so let's see how the play goes. So, there you go, yeah. Just win the... it's finally spawned at the bottom for you. You won with your glitch pop, and then just laying that pressure in. Nice stuff. Keeping yourself open. I don't necessarily like your positioning here, though. Okay, I'm seeing a little bit of a grief. Nice follow-up attempt, but I still won it for you there. Still won the goal, but I feel like you could have made the play yourself if you just picked up that orb. Win the first strike war against Rasmus. He doesn't have Whiplash to keep it up, so you do just zone him out, and then Cyber Swipe pushes the agenda. I don't mind this Cyber Swipe use, because then you just force a 1v1 with Mato, which she does actually win thanks to Perfect Pitch, but you're able to just keep the pressure up enough that she just wastes her abilities out, you're keeping it in the corner, Firewall Sentry is here now, and then the pressure cascades to where your own Estelle actually rose warps downwards to set up a snipe angle. Ooh, that's pretty nice. But then here's my question marks. You're keeping yourself open already for the core to come to you. You have Egoist. You're so close to burst. Like, just grab the orb, my dude. Just grab the orb. Grab the orb. Now you have Egoist, so then you can actually make more of a play. Because then, even if you didn't get the orb, if you didn't get Egoist from the orb right there, you definitely would have gotten it after your 2 strikes at that point then. And then you could make a more proactive play. Instead, you just kind of whiffed a few of your abilities, but you're still able to pick up the swat, even after your anticipation Cyber Swipe. Just a very small macro game thing that could have done a lot more for that goal. I mean, well, fact is you get your burst at this, you get your burst this coming round, so never punished, I guess. But just small things, because Macho did just get to watch up and get that orb for free. In another universe, it could have been different. And, well, have a good night, Calvin.
I am level 6. This is why you rock a midfielder if you have 2 midfielders on Athens City.
Ooh, okay. Well, that's just a Tofu Fortress. I really have no comments on that. You didn't have Glitch Pop afterwards, as you, after last round, because you already had used it, unfortunately. And then, well, after Tate's missed his Tofu Fortress, just immediate burst, it didn't work out. That really sucks. But you should have Glitch Pop guaranteed coming up this set now, right? You had no onus on the play. Yep. Win the first Strike War against Rasmus all the time. Everybody used their abilities, waiting things out, and you can wait things out thanks to Timeless Creator. Nice stuff.
I have started to refer to things in
Cornering.
events as pre-announcement and post-announcement.
Nice tries. Rasmus does have to use his burst to try to get the barrier. And good patience right there. Good patience. Mato already had no speed. And you just, literally waited her out right there. So now you have Twitch Pop, yeah. You just keep winning your ones. Rasmus has to send it back, fortunately, which lets you just win, with Egoist especially. You set up the corner angle tight, exactly tight as we liked it, because the fact is, like, that's just how how I mean works. You've just been forcing it every time. Forces the forwards out, forces into a 1v1, and then I feel like the burst is a little early, but actually with the perfect pitch, Macho might have hit you, so it's fine, actually. I like your VOD review? Well, thank you for that at the very, thank you for that. I feel like I'm getting a lot of good, a lot of good, reception to the VOD reviews I've had, considering this is only my second one, and I have 2 more viewer submissions for the next tweets coming along, too. But fact is, good burst, just keep it in the corner, keep it in the corner enforced. And even past you getting stunned by Pendulum Swing, I like your positioning afterwards with falling back. I'm sorry, with just like naturally falling back to answer. Because even if the Firewall Sentry and the Burst Force didn't get it in, you just take your position backwards already, trending back. That way, you keep it in the corner, and you can set up your Cyber Swipe. Perfect right there. Hits Mato, she can't defend, barrier falls. You don't get your swipe, unfortunately, afterwards, but now you're just angling to cut off Rasmus's angles. Good stuff. And a nice attempt at the corner. Just a little off. Can't blame me too much off of that.
Started to refer to things in events.
50-50 lost. You get hooked in. Inadvertently might have worked for you, but now it's just all about trying to mark your style. But since you were stacked up on each other, 50-50s, that's just how it goes. But that is you making the best out of a bad situation, because you're already out of abilities at this rate.
It is not fun.
Rasmus is forced to burst. You are out of the play a little bit. And the cord does come to you. Can't say too much about that strike. Even if you hit it backwards, that goes down to Dubu, and that could be a little bit dicey with Rasmus walking up and pendulum swinging, for instance. So now, just Cyber Swipe, recognizing you are so close to burst already, stuns the Estelle, or rather you're just trying to stun the forward so you can get onus on the play. Yeah, you stun Estelle, you get onus on the play, and then strike, like, that is a very, very small mind game right there that a lot of people don't think about. Especially, I feel like even up to like the diamond range that I'm playing at, but really does catch people off guard. I only really ever see like Etzes do this, in my opinion. And I feel like that's something that's right. It's such a simple mind game, but I just never see happening. Which is, you can see it here. Strike, Ai.Mi strikes, then she bursts. But trying to react to the strike just because she thinks she's sending it forwards, Macho had already used her own strike. And because of that, there is no chance. She tried to use the perfect pitch. She tried to use perfect pitch to react, and because of that, she's slowed down. She's got no reaction. She's got no way to react to it going immediately downwards. That's just once again, like I said, small mind game. That just is a very, very good, a very good tactic. I just don't see people utilizing enough, especially when it's a clear burst 1v1 with the goalie. Just watching it back in real time, it looked like there's enough time for Mato to react, but you can see right there, just stowing it out for a second. Because as soon as Mato committed the perfect pitch, she is, the entire top half is brought down by her burst, but the bottom isn't anymore, because there's no speed at all. So just clean up the what's his face? Clean up the set, but get us into a last set situation, and that's just pretty good, all things considered.
I also, one of the other least cool things.
So Deadeye, especially with you already having your glitch pop and with having missile propulsion, is just going to go hard for you.
Or at least temporary close.
I do like that. Is there anything to really deny otherwise? Rasmus does get Spark of Forces, so that's 3 Sparks for him. Enemy Estelle does get Prime Time, unfortunately, but yours gets Rapid Fire, which I think is more important. I personally do like Rapid Fire more than Prime Time, because I think like just the uptime is just more important than having 2 casts bat to bat, unless, except with the exception of certain strikers, for instance, maybe like Rune or just creation bases. That's just totally fine otherwise.
No red shark mark for me.
So, if it spawns upwards, yeah, your Dwitch spot's just covering whatever you can. Rasmus gets in front of you thanks to virtue of, what's his face, thanks to virtue of Whiplash. And nice Cyber Swipe into a winning 50-50. Nice stuff. Dwitch pop into a winning 50-50. I still don't know how I keep messing those up. Lost 50-50. Out of position thanks to the speed throwing you off. Good Cyber Swipe to really just get in between Rasmus now, because now he's marked out of position. And then you're moving up to try to get the orb. It still won the set right there, luckily for you. But you had really good coverage there. You had really good coverage, just like covering where Estelle couldn't be. Because immediately here, your Estelle has her own game. Like, if it spawns at the bottom or at the middle, you're just glitch popping to just win the war against Rasmus immediately. Whereas if it's spawning up top, your Estelle wins her war by Rose Warp to hit the core, followed by a piercing shot to do exactly that. Stun Estelle, push the core, stun enemy Estelle, push the core farther. Because even if enemy Estelle responds to their own piercing shot right there, the Dubu creation is trying to stop that. Rasmus does just man mark you out, unfortunately, thanks to the Whiplash speed, and he's just able to just beat you on that mirror. Can't say too much about that, because he has Whiplash speed, he has Spark of Agility at 3 Sparks now, so, you know, what more can you really say at that point then? And then you just get stunned to oblivion. But you set up Firewall Sentry to put a clear path and cutting off the enemy forwards, because especially with how much pressure that you have, fact is, use it or lose it, it's already lost set, no reason for you to save at this point, and with the pressure that you're feeling, you need to alleviate that from your teammates. Because now, that's just a great glitch pop is the biggest thing there. Because it puts the onus on Macho to respond, so you can't go down because Firewall Sentry, so he has to go up. The glitch pop marks Rasmus out, even though he already has Whiplash back on cooldown, and then you just won your 50-50. That's just great conditioning right there. Like, the Firewall Sentry, it may have been, you know, a panic, for example, if you're just trying to place it down. But the fact is, you responded with your Cyber Swipe just to move up on the play, and then your Glitch Pop just beats Rasmus. You're beating both the forwards and being unafraid to use your abilities, which I really like out of your play. Tight dribble, no real choice, you just gotta keep it in the corner. Dubu helps out right there. And then just trying to beat Estelle once again in the 50-50s. 2 lost, unfortunately, and then drum and bass kind of forced it into a weird situation. Now, I love this Cyber Swipe right here. Because fact is, especially so, Rasmus is on such low cooldown since having 3 Sparks. That's about 42, 52, if I remember correctly. When it comes to, what's his face? When it comes to his CDR, so that's how it goes. What is your rank in the game right now, Cruz? Oh, since I was trying to say Cruz. Currently, I am high diamond, I think at 42 out of 100. Season 1, I ranked as high as mid challenger. Before I just stopped playing because I was like, I'm happy enough. This VOD review right here, this is a pro level game. Kates and Sneaky Assassin are pro level, but this was submitted by Sikalasta, who is challenger in the VOD right here. So they wanted me to review their Ai.Mi, which it wasn't from their POV, it was from Kates' VOD, but they wanted me to review their Ai.Mi specifically, so that's who I'm zoning in on, as you can see at the bottom. So, like, have I ever reached a Meta or Pro League? No, I have not. I don't want to put in that time, because at that point that I feel like I'd lose the enjoyment of the game just playing it on and off. But yeah, my level is currently high diamond, but I've been, but it is basically my range. High diamond, low challengers, where I've just usually trended, both Season 1 and Season 2. Okay, rather, Season 1. I haven't reached Challenger in Season 2, but it's gonna happen just naturally. I've just been slowly going up per stream. Like, fact is, like, yeah, once the drum and bass comes out, you and Estelle are at the bottom, and your Estelle doesn't have Rose Warp after she already burns it here. So you need to find a way to get into the play, and you recognize, if Rasmus gets core control and gets to force a 1v1 with Dubru, he has enough cooldowns potentially, and even a 1-2 pendulum swing to just beat Kate's, especially if he has to force a rollout and even misses the rollout. So just Cyber Swipe to force the play out of his hands, and let Kate set up the rollout. Because even then, even if Rasmus does turret outwards, it hits him, so it stalls him enough. In fact, that stalled the play long enough for your Estelle to fall back at the bottom of the door mouth and recover the play. Because now drum and bass is out. Enemy Estelle can't actually follow up on the play, and then it just goes on from there. Yeah, your Estelle just wins an easy 1-2 corner snipe, and even then, for you, because Estelle has the full onus in the play, and you know Rasmus has no cooldowns, he can't whiplash speed up, Mato has no drum and bass, and he has to go to the goal, you can just greed for the orb, get your Egoist for net set, and then you are really popping. Because even if Estelle missed it, you get your Egoist, you can immediately greed up top, rush back down with that 75% speed, and then just play to your burst. That's just good, effective play. Hi there, Lily. You only high plat? Well, hopefully these kinds of VOD reviews can help you, especially so, with improving. If you want to see more of my gameplay, especially so, check my panels below, or just for my YouTube, because I upload all my VODs and my stream games on there, and you will see a lot of my my high diamond gameplays, to where all my commentary is really just me live commentating what I could be doing better or what I'm trying to do, on with my previous VOD reviews and stuff like my Stoolville Meta Strikers, if you want to improve, especially so. Because I love teaching in this game, and I'm really enjoying these VOD reviews. Well, Gold, I know a few of my other friends, I think like Kaito, for instance, for example, is in the Plat Gold range. So this, these types of streams are to really help people out in this case. But how you doing, Lily?
I haven't showered since last year. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Okay.
Glitch Pop, once again, you have your game plan. You know, since you have the range advantage, you just win against Rasmus all the time. He tried to answer a pendulum swing that time, but it still falls to his side of the court. Alright, let's watch the set, let's watch the round again before I analyze. Nice attempt at just bursting immediately. You might as well, since you have your Egoist. Has to burn. That just kind of fell, unfortunately. Alright, well, there's not much to analyze on this set now, let's be honest here. Like I said, core spawns at the bottom. What's your game plan? Immediately glitch pop to try to force the issue onto Rasmus, as you've been winning the strike war on Raw. Unfortunately, the perfect pitch stuns you, so you actually can't do anything there. And it buffered your firewall sentry. You tried to just repeat what you've done before, but because you got buffered from the perfect pitch, it just wasted away. That is so unfortunate. Your Estelle does win it though, and from the rebound, you think you'd be able to burst in time and force a 1v1 with Mako, but once again, just timing's just a little bit off, and then after that, you're just out of the play. Like, there's literally no fault in your play right there. You had a game plan trying to enact it, but you got buffered by the perfect pitch, but you got hit by perfect pitch, which screwed up your strike, followed by your firewall sentry, because it buffered your ability cast, and then, well, like I said, you thought you had enough range to hit your burst before Mato could. So since you don't have glitch pop at that time, then you try to force it, but you still do get it, luckily. And then I really still love how as soon as Estelle burst, you try to follow, or as soon as Estelle burst, you try to follow up with a cyber swipe to catch off guard. I really like that. Now that stun to burst kill on the edge is a little bit unfortunate. Can't say too much past that. But your team only lost the barrier, which is still decent. Cyber swipe forwards to try to force the firewall sentry. Nice tries there. Nice tries. Man marking Rasmus out. You are so close to your burst, though. You are so close to your burst. I'm seeing it, and that just didn't work out, unfortunately. That is another game of inches. Oh, jeez. Okay. Twitch, please. Anytime. Anytime, Twitch. Just on the Twitch.
They don't want to encourage
Okay.
Geno
We
goalies.
got the VOD. Okay, I just lagged for a second there.
Yeah, that's fair.
My VTube studio is also lagging, so I think that might be my internet. Give me 1 second on this, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I'm hearing the rain starting to fall in my area. That's why. Okay, well, let's finish up this review real quick then.
Wait, yeah, it is the 30th.
So, since you don't have glitch pop immediately, Rasmus just does win the first strike war. Don't necessarily know if you want to immediately strike it towards him. You could have just literally waited at the core and forced him to use his strike and move up with Whiplash, but we'll just see. No, he used Pendulum Swing, so he forced the issue onto you. Yeah, didn't say too much past that. He's just kind of stunned out, but a great glitch pop after it goes on their side. As soon as it goes on their side, you just burn your ability and just get to intercept when Estelle wasn't ready. Because it stunned her, got the barrier, Macho wasn't ready, and that's just really good all things considered. Again as well, with being ready to move up with your Cyber Swipe once again, I do like that after your own Estelle burst.
What do you mean you haven't showered since last year?
But it's just unfortunate right here that you just did 1-2. Can't say too much fastest. As soon as Estelle blinked down, if she hit the core, you would have been fine. But since she hit you, it's just immediate 1-2. You're still stunned, so you just did burst killed off the edge. And there's not much more you could really say. You were setting yourself up for a pass, to receive the pass, but it still caught you off guard. Only counterplay at that point then would just be anticipate that she's going to go in there and just move a little farther back, but then you're compromising your own position as a forward. And even if you move back and then get the strike at the bottom, it's still to just blink downwards with that Rose Warp anyway, considering she has Twin Drive. But yeah, you're just stunned to oblivion that you don't get a chance to react. There's the millisecond, but I probably wouldn't have been able to react there too. Gotta stall things out. Nice try at the somersault. Didn't stun Rasmus, but you're able to hold. And just solid defense from your teammates. Just man to man. Estelle against Estelle, Duba against Rasmus. He doesn't get his forces in until the very end, unfortunately. Panic striking. I don't know what that hit on Rasmus was trying to accomplish as soon as you respawn, though. Because you burned your glitch pop. I don't know if you're trying to cut off the angle towards Estelle, potentially. Let's watch it back. Ah, yeah, okay. You're trying to cut off the angle to Estelle. Can't fault you there, because but Rasmus instead passes up to himself, tries the pendulum swing. Your own Estelle interrupts and puts the onus on them now, and then now you immediately see what's trying to happen. Firewall Sentry, cut Estelle off, force it into the corner, and hold things. And hold it in the corner. The only thing that I don't like though is that your Estelle, like, you can't say this in the heat of the moment. It's like you can't blame Estelle, you can't blame trying to set up with Estelle because she used her snipe anticipating, but then you move out of the corner. You link up instead to where your firewall sentry is already shooting, and you give up the immediate top right. That's my only critique here, because then Rasmus gets to clear enough, even if he did get stunned, and he's able to force things past slightly. Granted, his pendulum, his death touch does work negatively, but then afterwards here, you're just not exactly in the best spot to mark the lane. You win that. You're not going to get egos from the orb because you don't. It's like, at least like looking at immediately on energy cost. But then you just kind of move downwards instead of trying to cut off the passing lane. Like you move downwards, you emote. I don't necessarily like that. Yeah, like who's watching at the bottom? Who's there at the bottom? Just cut off Rasmus's angle right there. Because if it goes to that way anyway, your Dubu can just stun Rasmus with somersault and just get in between anyway. Just cut off the passing lane. You just stutter step stalled and emoted. I just don't. And Rasmus just got the goal in. Just minor positioning plays, but once again, that's really how all that it comes. Because you're Estelle. If you see her defending right there, she's covering the exact top, so you need to watch Rasmus. Because even if it goes down to the bottom, enemy Estelle has to burn her Rose Warp, and she doesn't have any range augments at Awakenings. I don't think she just has secondary drive for it. So she just gets a free passing lane. Yeah, your Estelle is at the very top the entire time, so you just need to cut off that lane. That is positioning critique right there. That is a small issue.
I definitely showered this year. I'm like 90% sure.
Glitch swap again. Cyber Swipe trying to force the issue.
Did I say
Egoist?
90%? I'm 100% sure.
Wait out the strikes. You wait out both both Estelle and Mato strike, which I really do like. But then the issue starts coming to you.
Beat him up.
Can't say anything about that. That was a very fast core. Cyber Swipe to interrupt the Death Touch and control the core, followed by Firewall Sentry to try to hold on to it there. A great snipe on Estelle to Jet Mato chill. That's her burst out as well. You can just get an orb, get an orb, jet your egos potentially, or just or just catch him off guard. Wow, okay. The paradigm flipped on your head. So Twitch Pop to just win the war. You have it on cooldown now, so you force Rasmus to answer. And then just Konito once again. Just force it up with Cyber Swipe cheaper in the corner. You just don't get the best rebound off afterwards because the immediate perfect pitch means it clears ahead of you. But a great Tofu Fortress gets back in your control and gets you your Egoist. And then just good waiting right there. You see everybody strike, you see Mato and Estelle strike, and you see Rasmus's Whiplash. And you just get a good timing on that. You've been patient with your what's his face? You've been patient with your forces, your burst forces, and that's just good right there. Strike spotted, and then just immediately afterwards, just hit it in. Nice stuff right there. It still tries to force downwards, but with drum and bass, Rasmus is able to immediately start moving up and force the issue himself. He immediately sends it upwards to try to get to his Estelle, and with Whiplash. Now, afterwards, nobody's here. You know Rasmus is beating you, so you go ahead and commit the Cyber Swipe, and inadvertently stop his Death Touch too. Great recognition of nobody's there. You just have to answer, just especially with it being game point. You just go ahead and burn the ability, and then Firewall Sentry. It's not going to get a good cutoff angle for a core for a GaleForce, but instead it cuts out the forwards. They have to immediately move down and give up position, give up the entire top half position. Because you see, Rasmus is getting pushed on as he tries to come down, and it still has to physically come down to answer the positioning. Because if she doesn't, you get a free corner angle. And Mato, crucially, also has to waste her ensnare drums to try to stall the play. Instead, it comes to Mato still does clear, but the immediate Rose Warp plus piercing shot from Estelle does kill her because he's standing past the line with how far she is.
Goalie down.
Which is really good. Piercing shot from enemy Estelle hits. And now you're just trying to look for a good positioning play. Piercing shot does put the onus out of your strike, and you try to cover with a glitch pop, but then, look at this. Just a hold. Just a hold from Estelle, and then Cyber Swipe.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, can't say too much more about enemy Estelle. That's just forcing the issue. Because even if she clears it upwards to Rasmus, your Estelle can answer in a 1v1. If she clears it down, you have Egoist and Duo can easily just rebound the court to you. Just burn. There's no reason. It's like once she already bursted, she has to send it, because otherwise she just disrespects you with your Cyber Swipe.
That's a lie.
Great glitch pop. You have your burst. Nice try. Good somersault from Dubu. I can't believe that Tofu Fortress worked, honestly. Sending it up. Ooh, your missile propulsion range almost worked. I don't like that strike though. Alright, cut off the forwards with your Firewall Sentry and keep it low. Good. Fall back for the orb so you can get your Egoist proc. And now the play's on you. Get in front of Rasmus with your abilities. I see the idea there. I really do. Rasmus almost gets it! Your Estelle has burst. I like the idea. It drags everybody out. Your abilities are coming up. Missile propulsion comes in clutch. I was about to say Cyber Star coming in. Not necessarily there yet. Now it's just all about keep away from Rasmus game. Keep the angle forced. Estelle's so close to. Rasmus did use his burst. Just forcing it out. Estelle's so low. Cyber Swipe used. You can just, get an orb, get Egoist, get Egoist. So close! Team player sends the core packing! And look at him. You're just running. Win the 50-50 against Estelle. Nice try. Burst for burst. Didn't win the strike after that. I can't believe you didn't die. Oh, but it gets in because drum and bass missed! Wow! I can't believe the game ends like that. The game ends from Mato missing her drum and bass. Not from any big play, but just from her missing her recast after holding it.
These games are impossible.
Wow, that is a final round and a half, if I had to say.
That's a lie.
All right, let's back it up. Let's back it up here.
There's no way, Orca. That's not how
All right.
that works.
So round starts. You have your burst, spawns at the middle, but you don't have your glitch pop immediately yet. But as soon as you get the chance, you just burn that ability, and I still love that. I love that.
That's not how that.
People try to treat their abilities so much, but consistently throughout this VOD, you've been unafraid to put these abilities out to just challenge core control constantly. Erasmus uses his pendulum swing, and with the combination of Dubu rollout, Bamboozle rollout plus the Stone Strike, you force the issue, and because you are marking the bottom with Rasmus already committed to the middle, Mato can't send to the bottom because you just get it for free and you have burst, so she has to send up top to where both you with Glitch Pop and Estelle with Piercing Shot answer the core. That is great, just recognition of where you are on the pitch. Unfortunately, drum and bass and Piercing Shot is used to counter you, but fact is, that's still two key abilities out, and dude, once again, I'm still surprised that the Tofu Fortress didn't brick. Like, how did Kate's get it past right there, honestly?
Lies and slander.
Dude, I don't know. I'm guessing, yeah, it hit the first Tofu bowl, which is why it stopped right there, and then the others got to push it all on. That is so lucky. Trying to beat Rasmus out, he just has more speed thanks to three sparks and spark of agility, so you can't win them all. But then just danger recognition keeping him away from the play. No, why? Disappear! Disappear, you stupid pause icon! Forget it, I'm just reloading my browser real quick. I might get another ad since I am refreshing this.
Game better with Butterfinger. Every bite of that crispity crunchy.
Oh, what did I say? But I'm not going to have that pause. I'm not going to have that pause symbol in the middle of my VOD review here.
Buy a Butterfinger today and enter for a chance to win.
Butterfinger, yep, Butterfinger. Okay. So, I don't like Kate's play right there. Should have sent downwards, but even then, Rasmus might have hit, so can't say too much past that otherwise. Like I said, Firewall Sentry to try to cut things off, because with both forwards up there, it still has to burn her Rose Warp to get past the Firewall Sentry, and Rasmus just gets pushed down on the play. Everybody's forced on their goal mouth, which lets you and Estelle try to force the situation. Her strike does unfortunately miss, but you keep it low. Good Death Touch to try to force the issue, but then you get your Ego Burst. You want to send upwards, because then Cyber Swipe, right? Yeah, Cyber Swipe, because if Mato hits it up, Cyber Swipe and Piercing Shot would intercept. She sends it downwards, though. Your Estelle is running out of cooldowns. You lose her 50-50, and then Glitch Pop to try to force Rasmus away and get control back. Can't say too much more about that, besides you tried. Now, Estelle immediately bursts, sends it away from the enemy forwards, holding control. It forces Mato's drum and bass to end early so she can answer, and then Piercing Shot holds on. You start branching out to try to cover the bottom, but it's just intelligent play because I can see the intelligent play because with both enemy forwards stacked up, you just need to wait for your opportunity. Because if the core comes your way, it's a 1v1. If you give up control there, then it's anybody's game. Because yeah, you can see right there, with you having to go back to answer, it's anybody's game once Mato clears it away, and especially since Rasmus has burst. So luckily, Mato saves it right there. Rasmus Pendulum Swings to stun Estelle, moves the lineup. And then Firewall Sentry, I don't know about that. Because you're not cutting anybody off with it, but it might just be to cut off the passing lane more than anything. It does get a lot of hits on enemy Estelle, which is big, and it does get you a lot of energy, though. Rasmus also does whiff his burst, unfortunately for him. Glitch Swap a little early, trying to hit the play. I probably would have been looking to hit Estelle at this rate, but that's just me. Considering how low she is and how close to burst she is as a viable win condition. But fact is, it's a last goal scenario. You're just more trained on the core. Pendulum Swing stuns, but the Angel bounces off so slightly so that Kates can answer.
I saved it.
And then it's just panic mode. Try to intercept with Glitch Pop, just missed, can't say too much there. Tor's going super fast. You're just now trying to answer with your Ego speed. You're marking Rasmus out because you can compete with his 3 Sparks and Whiplash thanks to Ego 75%. And then you win against Estelle right here, luckily. Now, she does win afterwards. She kind of caught on to you waiting things out. Rasmus did burn Pendulum Swing, didn't burn his Death Touch though, which is still a good win though. Burst for a burst is still fine. Her angle is a little compromised considering Estelle was covering the top, Dude was covering the bottom. Rose Warp to beat you on your march. And then just, she wasn't expecting, like, nobody was expecting that. Let me watch that back again. Let's see here. It's the team player speed. Team player speed getting the core past Estelle. You can't make that up. That is team player being a goated awakening. All things considered, because that gets it past Estelle before she can react, allowing Ai.Mi to redirect afterwards. And then Mata just also, once again, wasn't expecting the speed from team player, setting the core at purple speed. Look at that. Yeah, dude! Because if it just came to her naturally, drum and bass would be able to stop it. But because of team player sending it with overtime speed, even more so, she just didn't expect to recast at that time. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, that's just team player working for Vtuber right there. But all in all, that's just a pretty good game, all things considered. I really liked reviewing a higher level play.
You actually just got griefed by the game there, man.
But yeah, I can see here, Tate's, this is him in pro level, in pro league for his ranking overall. If I rewind things farther back to like the beginning, I can probably actually catch everybody's ranks. Hold on.
Have good midfielders and you want to play melee.
So if I go all the way back here, well, I can't see the enemy ranks, but I can see Pro League, Challenger for Sikalasta. But overall, I really like that. I really like that VOD, and I also really liked your gameplay, Sikalasta. Really showcasing what you should be doing, just not as Ai.Mi, but at a high level itself, especially so when it comes to, because the biggest things is, like, the biggest takeaways from watching your VOD back that I feel like I can really apply out for anybody looking to improve is your willingness to use your abilities, but not haphazardly, but intelligently. Because constantly, especially with you having Estelle as your fellow forwards, you are recognizing when you need to go in, when to find your force opportunities. Recognizing, hey, this is when I'm having my current power spike, and when I can really force the core in through a good strike, strike cyber swipe. Or, hey, I can cut off the entire bottom half and keep the core at the corner with my Firewall Sentry. And let Estelle help me out from at range. Being unafraid to do everything, to win your wars like that, and especially, like, I think, like, another underrated thing, I kept harping on. Winning first touch. Just using Glitch Pop, that way Rasmus is forced to respond to you, meaning if you have Glitch Pop up and it spawns at the middle or bottom, you are just always winning, and that's just how your momentum goes, keeping it out of his hands. And even with him having 3 Sparts, he was unable to convert a opening round advantage. You always have to barrier first more often than not, and it just cascaded from there. Was just really good, all things considered. But yeah, going back to your main takeaways, just anytime your cooldowns immediately came up, just using them. So many times, I can't fault people, or I can't fault, of course, goalies holding onto their abilities, and then forwards trying to look for that perfect opportunity to hit, to use. Kind of like, I think the biggest point of D could be like Julia Dash Punch. Dash is on an 8-second cooldown, if I remember correctly. Let me actually open up my own Omega Strikers real quick. Dash is on a 18-second cooldown. Punch is on a 7-second cooldown. So because of that, why don't you just use Punch in place of a Strike to stun people and win a 50-50 guaranteed, for instance? Just being able to use your Glitch Pop every 8 seconds when you can, even if it is at round start, to win first touch so that you always have the advantage of forcing it into the corner, or just immediately, 3, 2, 1, Glitch Pop goes out, see if I can hit Estelle and force core control out of her, or rebound it off the wall. Being unafraid, especially as a ranged striker like Ai.Mi, to just force the issue out and make the enemy uncomfortable to where anytime they think, oh, I can stall, I can stall, I can dribble, I can find this passing lane, to just put that possibility out there. Because even if you miss a lot of them, even if you miss like 60% of your Deutsch pops or your cyber swipes or your piercing shots, the 40% that you do get can earn you that barrier, can earn you that goal, can earn you that kill, and that willingness to burn your abilities. So that's how you win your games. Yes, there's obvious power spikes to where I missed it. I missed my cyber swipe. Now I'm out of position and have no dash for 14 seconds. Greatly outweighs the potential gain that you get from keeping your core control, from getting the barrier, from converting to a goal, winning the set from there on. And that is something that I really, really liked out of your gameplay. That, and like I said, once you were out of your power spiking, trying to find good positioning, such as just intelligently standing in front, man-marking Rasmus when it was his turn to man-mark, knowing when to go in, especially if your Estelle didn't have her own Rose Warp, to intercept plays with your Cyber Swipe, using it defensively in that end. The only a few grief times is once again when you were emoting and just kind of standing out, but those are small micro plays. But then I say small micro plays. This came down to 3-2 set-wise in a 3-2 final set goal line. Those small mistakes could add up to even bigger game losses. So that's why I want to harp on them, considering how close the game was. But overall, really good Ai.Mi play, all things considered, especially considering your ability use. That is the biggest thing. Is Citralasta here right now? Well, I don't know if they actually have a Twitch followed by that same name, so I wouldn't be able to say, quite frankly. But I will be uploading this VOD to them later, and quite frankly, they also didn't actually specify anything for me to highlight. They just said if it's worth anything, they took Switch Kidsets match, and to be fair, they kept themselves constantly in the third, in the enemy third near their goal mouth, always keeping themselves open, intelligently so, because fact is, since you're not taking magnetized, you don't need to be running around on the pitch. You just need to keep yourself open so that when the core comes to you, you can dribble, you can hold, and then find your force with your 1-2 cyber swipe, 1-2 glitch pop, or cut off angles, and then just slowly force a 50-50 with a firewall sentry push. But I will be uploading this, of course, to YouTube, YouTube later, probably on this week, and then I'll just be tagging them so they can have their own reaction to this. It's a really good VOD overall, and like I said, they didn't ask me to go over anything specific. They just wanted to highlight, yeah, a high-level Ai.Mi play, mostly everything on that side of things. Just once again, like I said, really good, all things considered. Very well of your rank when it comes to, and just congratulations on that win. So I will end off my VOD on that. It's already been a nice, almost 2 hours of stream. 1 hour, 47 minutes. Yeah, with round 5 games, with set 5 VOD reviews going to about 2 hours. That's actually really good timing, all things considered. I'm very happy about that. So, wherever you are, wherever you may be, whether you're on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, or more, it's been your Wonderful Wind Mage, your Cruz Ship Servant, Chartreuse Proxy, ever and always at your service. Thank you for joining me on this wonderful VOD review tonight. I'll be returning with this on next Tuesday as usual, but for now, I'll be off tomorrow, followed by my first ASMR stream of Sweeping with Sakia Izuyoi. Thank you everybody for coming along. Of course, I'm going to be reading out one of my wonderful friends, SolarHot77, otherwise known as Kiwi, considering, I just typed in slash, I didn't type in slash raid. SolarHot77. Because it is her subathon going on. It is day 8 of her subathon actually still going. And that is very, very sweet to see. So if you already aren't following, please do follow so you can get that free follow remote of CG Cruise Heart. The cruise ship has landed. Proxy raid. Oh, and once again, at least from my side of the world, do have yourself a wonderful evening. I'll catch you back all on Thursday at the same time at night for my first ASMR stream.
It's just